All right, Lagos, Nigeria, planet Earth, and of course, I'm going to shout out planet Pluto. Welcome back to the late edition on Lagos Talks 91.3. It is still your voice of the night, Obi, on the late edition, speaking to you right about now. And the chat room is on course. It happens Mondays to Fridays from 10 p.m. all the way till 11. And if you've been listening since the beginning of the late edition tonight, I've hinted at who we're having tonight on the show. And it's a very, very interesting guest that we have tonight. A lot of people know him as a singer-songwriter, especially from his experience in time past. A couple of people also know that he had quite the impact in the entertainment, industry. Still does, I would definitely say, as a television presenter, also an actor and a producer. And recently, I came to realize that he is a social engineer. We'll get into that very much during the course of the show. But of course, my guest tonight is Charly Boy, or I'd rather, based on respect, Area Father. Good evening, Area Father. How's it going?
It's going well. Yeah, except Nigeria is happening to most of us, which is a sad, sad story.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would love for us to get into that, but that that's not really what we're going to be doing.
Let's have some fun.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Tonight we're going to be spotlighting you. I know there's a lot of information about you on the internet. How you grew up. You have your family now. About 9 children, 16 grandchildren. All of that. That's great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't believe it myself.
Oh yeah.
When did I do all of this?
Oh, and it's so very interesting. But that's just really great. That's quite the achievement. I know a lot of people will attest to that.
Yeah.
But there's something that it's really great achieving all that and still looking very young. Although you're not so
That's
young.
why I'm a boy.
Yes, of course, Charly Boy. That's right. It's good to have you. It's good
to be here.
Yeah, but still speaking about being a boy, even though you don't you're kind of age. That recently, I want to believe that you turned 70. What I'm saying. I want to believe. Yeah, what I'm saying, I want to believe. Yes, because in time past, I don't know if I would say you've been intentional about trying to confuse us with your age.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that's why I say I want to believe.
Are you confused yet?
Yeah, somewhere, because I know back in 2011, you celebrated your 60th. So
2011?
Yeah, I think so. From information that I got online, 2011, and but that aside, anyway, what your age is now. The question I want to ask you is: Is there something that from as far back as you can remember, maybe to your childhood days, up until now, is there something that you've held on to very dear to you? It doesn't necessarily have to be material. It could be a value, a belief,
of
or
course,
something very, very key.
I come from another neck of woods. I'm sure quite people my age mates, people of my era, came from that same neck of woods in terms of we were brought up on a very strong dose of morality, integrity, principle. At that time, we didn't even know who had money. My father wasn't really a wealthy person, a wealthy guy, but he did well as an attorney, as a lawyer, he did very well. But as soon as he became a judge, and my father was a very hard disciplinarian. So that's the neck of wood I'm coming from, because my home was run like a military barracks.
Interesting.
There was time for everything. Time to pray, time to go and read your catechism, time for this, time to eat at the family table together.
Yeah. Okay.
And I always wondered why should I follow the train? Why should I go with all these rules and regulation? It was stifling my life,
I understand.
But I didn't know exactly what was happening, till I grew into an adult. And looking back, I could see that there was this fierce competition with my father and I. Okay, my father wanted me to be a certain way. I wanted to be a certain way, And when I eventually, after I finished my university education and I came back to Nigeria, and he had all these plans for me to go and work in an oil company, be their PRO, and I said, I ain't having none of that. And he asked me, okay, so what would you rather do? I said, I just want to be my own person, do my own thing. At that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was overwhelmed, suffocated, because I bore this name, and anywhere I appeared, it was like, you see, that is the son of this, and I hated that. I wanted to have my own identity. So I felt that the fastest way was to get into entertainment. But, career-wise, I'm originally a journalist. Yeah, I'm not I'm not even a musician. I'm a journalist. That's
actually, now that I really do think about it properly, yeah. But that's good. I'm sure you just caught that my own side, just about how the system in Nigeria, how your parents pretty much dictate for you that this is how it's supposed to be. But I struggled with that.
Those were the good old days, I'm telling you, because as I look back, I say, if my father no follow me like that, maybe I for really lost. So. So I'm grateful for all the values that he instilled in me. Of course, I was a rebellious kid, I was too rascally and all of that, and I was being punished for all of that also. But I'm very proud and glad to say I did it my way. It was my own way. I had to find my own level. I succeeded by myself, And that's why I tell young people, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. Success is an individual thing.
Absolutely.
It's a personal thing, The fact that whether your pa get money or you don't get money has no, I've seen some people who come from very good background, rich parents and all of that, but they turned out assholes, Are we supposed to say that?
No, we're not. Please, let's try as much as possible. But yeah, I totally understand what you mean with that, because really and truly, for you to do the best in life, or at least to make it in life, you need to come to terms with your true potential and know what is best for you.
Be your authentic self.
Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't just be led. If people are really making decisions for you, it wouldn't help you be so confident in yourself, really. Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand that. But there's this very interesting question that I now have for you, because correct me if I'm wrong, but your oldest son is about 53.
Yeah, my oldest son is 53 this year.
Okay, so
he's an associate professor in Boston University.
Okay, that's great actually, and that's really good, honestly.
Don't be looking at me with those kind of eyes. I can catch your eyes. This man don't old.
No, but then now I want to ask this very interesting question, because I'm just thinking about how you mentioned you had a very interesting family dynamic growing up.
Yeah.
But doing the maths now, from you being 70. And your son being 53.
I've been 70 for 5 years.
Okay.
I've stayed 70 for 5 years.
Okay, because in my mind I'm thinking, you had him at a pretty young age. So I'm wondering how was that like for you? Did you have him?
At the time I had him, I denied that it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
How did that go? Were you able to get away with that for how long?
I got away with it for a very long time, and then when I started coming into the light, by that I mean my maturity, and then my friends in Port Harcourt, everybody was sending me, pictures, and look at your son. This is your son. Now you bought this one. It resembles you well, But at the time, my baby mama was pregnant, for fear of how my parents will take the news. I denied everything. Because I was supposed to be in school reading my books, not getting people pregnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was how that one happened. But later, I got in touch, and things could be much better. Our relationship could be much better, but we're working at it.
So do you mind me asking, like, how long?
I don't mind
how much?
asking me anything.
All right. So I just wanted to know, like, how long did you take before you finally reached out to, getting to know your son?
Ooh. Took about 25, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It took a long time.
That is actually a very
before
long time.
we really started, before then, once in a great while I would call, but, about 25, 30, thereabout. So I missed his growing up years.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to make up for.
Yeah. And how's he responding to that?
Well, not the way I really would love for him to respond, but at this age and at this rate, I'll take anything.
You have to be
patient. It's a start.
Yeah. Okay, that's good, because in my mind I'm just thinking, with how you just explained how your dad was. Imagine giving birth to a child at that age. I don't even know. You would have been disowned. That's definitely my own. Okay.
No, I was a terror, and that was why. Listen, let me tell you, the I'm very proud of myself for a start.
That's beautiful.
And one of the proudest job I gave myself, was taking care of my aging parents. Because I brought them, when my father retired and my mother retired, they were staying in the village, okay? And because I couldn't oversee their welfare from Lagos in the village, I had to now bring them out of that village to come live with me in Abuja.
Okay.
And they lived with me for almost like about 14 years. And
in Gwarimpa there, right?
Yes, in Gwarimpa. And it was just a pleasure taking care of them. Anything to make them smile, anything to give them joy. I always paid for their vacation. They went at least every year, twice a year. They visited so many. They have traveled even more in their older age than I did. In my lifetime.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. That's so great, actually. Wow, you were really, really
Yeah.
intentional about, giving your parents
a
wonderful...
And so you can imagine the hole in my heart. My father was the first to go. I think he left 2014, and my mother left 2019 thereabout. So I be orphan now. No mother, no father.
Chai. Well, you're still doing great, and you've done a lot of great things. I'm so sure, they're proud of you. So it's really great. And okay, just to quickly, before we move on to a few more questions I have in store for you, there's a message here. One of the fans says, please, is that the true Charly Boy, Oputa Panel's son? Good evening, Mr. Obi. Of course, yes, it is the area father that you're listening to. And of course, she also said she loves this show. Thank you so very much. Of course, in case you're just tuning in, you're tuned into Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. And right about now, this is the chat room that happens on the late edition from 10 p.m. all the way to 11 Mondays to Fridays. And tonight, we're speaking to, or rather, I would say with, Charly Boy. So this next, I want us to now talk about your entertainment life. We know that you're an entertainer in different ways.
Yeah.
And, we've seen that in recent times, you've really done a couple of things. I believe sometime last year you put out some new music, Naija Matters. Of course, that I really love that song though. It speaks volumes.
It here?
No, I can get it. I believe I should be able to get it. Maybe that will be what I'll play at the end of the show. But of course, I don't want us to get into Naija Matters like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, please. Well, of course, I know that in the space of the past 3 years, even some movies you've been in, some films that have been put out. So, what are you up to in terms of entertainment right now?
Well, I'm just taking a back seat. Like I said, I wouldn't classify myself as a musician, really. Music was just another vehicle, another tool to express my frustration of the system, so on and so forth. Right now, because of what I went through last year, my prostate cancer, I'm a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
I want to spend this time in my life, talking to men, creating enough awareness, because, we're all in a very hypocritical and close kind of society. And men especially, they've been conditioned from birth to, okay, men don't cry, men have to endure, they can't keep acting like women, but me, I dey cry. If something hurt me that bad, I'll cry. I have no shame in my game, and all this macho thing, so I think I've given myself that job to educate men on why they should be more open. Get a friend, see a counselor, talk to people, whatever is troubling your mind.
Yeah, just
because like how they say, a problem shared,
as a problem
half solved. So that's what I want to, because a lot of men in my age bracket, and even younger people, people 40, 30, they are getting ED, erectile dysfunction.
True.
Okay? And you wonder, is it in the food? Prostate cancer, excuse me.
Yeah.
Of course, I know, comes with aging. It's part of the aging process.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But for men of 40, 35 to be having erectile dysfunction, it's
a pressing issue.
It's unusual, So I believe that I can use all the experience that I've been through to talk to my fellow men, and when I came out openly and talked about my medical challenges. If you know the amount of people who started calling me, you go, sorry for me. Because I started to feel like I was walking in Nightel. Where is Nightel?
So wait, were they calling to just to check in, or what was that like?
No, they were calling me to ask me questions. How did it start with me? What exactly, did I go through? How do I confront my wife? How do I talk to my wife about what's happening with me? So on and so forth. Yeah.
Going to show that genuinely asking, because some of them are actually in situations like that.
I've spoken to total strangers who had no business really telling me all the intimate details of what they're going through medically. But for some reason I see that a lot of men out there, they trust me well enough to confide in me what they're going through. And I've managed, by God's grace, I've managed to give a lot of men hope. And that's what I'm all about.
That's really beautiful.
And that's where I want to sort of settle right now.
Okay. That's actually really good stuff right there. And I want us to really talk more about this, but what I want you to maybe speak a bit more on is, you said some men have been helped when they called in, and you're very intentional about that. So I don't know. There could be somebody out there who is actually struggling with prostate cancer or whatnot. So I just want you to,
Even
quickly
prostate
something.
alone, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't have to get to the cancerous part.
Well, true.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and that is why I advocate for regular checkup with men. If you're above 45, 50, please make it a habit. Always, fuss over yourself. Self-love is great.
Yeah.
Check on yourself, and it's better to catch it
early
than because a lot of men,
really
because
bad.
they don't want to talk about it, they want to they want to hide it, they want to be secretive about it, which I can't wrap my head around that.
And it really, really affects the all round the person's life. Because I'm thinking about earlier today, I was having a conversation, and it even opened my eye because I was the one who responded to that. So basically, it was actually with my sister. We were driving, and then I just realized there was this small damage on the car. It's not gonna hurt anybody, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to worry so much about that because it's not really a major problem right now. But then at that moment, I had like a revelation, like that is actually the problem here. That's like, it might seem like this is just the car, but we kind of have that culture of waiting till it's a very, very serious, life-threatening situation, but that shouldn't be the case. And obviously that prompted me to make a phone call. But that's, by the way, what really matters is getting to detect early, especially, and then now detecting early, do the best that you can. So what I just wanted to ask, I know, like you mentioned, ensure you get regular checkups and that, but what helped you? What was your coping mechanism? I know family would have helped, but is there anything you did personally?
I don't take myself too seriously.
Oh, that was
I don't take myself that seriously at all. And no, I finally found my sweet spot. Where regardless if the world is coming to an end tomorrow or Nigeria is just exploded, I have this spot I'm always at, and it reminds me of the boy in me, where I go and I can deal with anything. And I like, people see me and wonder, okay, what are you doing actually to always look young and fit? And I say, I watch who I keep company with. I have very few friends. I'm not really a social kind of person. I think I'm an anti-social kind of person. I mean, who would believe that? Charly Boy.
That's very interesting, considering that you're a social engineer.
Precisely. When I have to go out and do my thing, I do. But most of the time, and I figured you can have crowds around you most of the time, but you're still lonely.
I agree.
Because it's like, people are not in the same headspace with me. We are not on the same page. So why even bother keeping their company? So I have very limited people. I watch what I eat. I watch the company I keep, and that's how I cope. Because there's a lot of bege out there. There's a lot of wahala. Even being a Nigerian is, people should get an award for just living in this country, because it's kind of hellish.
That's a very, very concerning thing, honestly. But I think, that you saying you don't take yourself seriously, the way I'm seeing it is, things that the way I'm seeing it is things you cannot really change. You don't fuss about. Is that the way it is? Or even things you can, you just like, this life now on, anything as it comes.
I remember like 25 years ago, 30 years ago, like, you are my friend now. Somebody can't do you bad, maybe trying to take advantage of you. I'll go to war on your behalf. I don't even need to know who you are. I go to war, But I'm learning to simmer down a bit, my gra know that as a day before.
Yeah, I just
even before, hey.
I just remembered the whole story with Idris Abdul Karim and all that.
No,
but yeah, we don't want to. That just remind. I just remembered that. Yeah, but that's. I don't want us to get into that at all. But just for the sake of listeners, because I can see some questions coming in. It's a fully interactive show. Just in case you want to, call in, or I'll prefer you sending messages right about now, so that I can read your questions, and eventually I'll open up the phone lines before we wrap things up for you to join the conversation. Our WhatsApp number is 0809 234 5913. Okay, so let's just quickly look at some questions here before I get back to some that I have. So, okay, this is coming from Fatai from Apapa. Fatai says, "Good evening, Obi. Please help me ask Area Father what is his secret above 70, still looking good and sound." Okay, I think you just responded to that.
Yeah.
Still looking good and sounding well.
Exercise, more exercise. Watch what you eat. Watch the company you keep. Try to find a soft spot. Your joy is soft spot. And don't take yourself too seriously either. Yeah.
Okay. But he also asked, what supplements are you taking? Are you taking any supplements?
I'm not too much into supplements and stuff like that. But I take my vitamins.
Okay, yeah, important. Yeah, that's great. All right, no problem. So let's see another message here. Chineye was also saying, says, "Wow, today's show is quite educating. Today's discourse is centered on aging gracefully. This is great. Centering the topic on men, quite beautiful. I'm glad he survived the prostate cancer and would appreciate if he tells us more about it, the cause and whatnot. Please, what caused it? Can you tell us what caused it?"
Your prostate, they look like knots. There are two of them. Okay, and they I think your urinary tract, where your pee comes out from, they're on both sides. So when they start to enlarge, it kind of blocks the track where your pee comes out from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? When they start to enlarge. What happened in my own case was they were not only enlarging, but they have gone, they now grew into my bladder.
Ooh.
Okay?
Wow.
And then when that happens, it starts to, that was the first stage of it being cancerous.
Okay.
Because the pee and the prostate, they all mixing in there.
The wrong place again.
Which wasn't.
Nah, it's not
best.
pretty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was able to catch it on time.
And that's great.
Because sometimes I will go to ease myself, and I'll stay for like 10 minutes waiting for the pee to come out. But I'm on my bed and I just rush up. I want to go and pee. Meanwhile, I get to the bathroom. I'm waiting for this pee to come out. And no sooner have I peed to go back to see if I can get that rest. I want to go again.
Oh, wow. And
sometimes, there was a time it was happening. I had to wear diapers and Pampers because I was just peeing on myself.
It can be like that, yeah.
So, and then, what that does to you sometimes, for most men mentally, you start to gradually lose interest in sex. Okay?
With that.
Because you now start having performance anxiety. You don't even know when NEPA will bring light or whether there will be power failure. So, and a whole lot. A whole lot.
Okay. I guess that pretty much just explains what the whole process is like with prostate. So, back to, the question that I want to ask. You kind of hinted on it, but you being a social engineer, it's very interesting because the internet describes it as good and bad. Bad in the sense that it's, a manipulative way of exploiting human behaviors, but good in the way that you're pretty much intentional about
information at your fingertips.
And then social change. So just pretty much tell us what it is for you, being a social engineer and what you are planning with that.
Things are good and bad depending on who is looking at it, who is engaging. If you have a warped mind, okay, there are kids out there who are on porno sites, 24/7. There are kids out there who want to research, who wants to know about their history. There's good and bad everywhere.
True.
So what is it you're looking for? So it depends on the individual. What is it that motivates you, inspires you, turns you on? So to each his own. That's what I always say. Whatever. As you make a bed, you definitely are going to lie on it. Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's good. So let's move back onto, well, still in line with this, but you're pretty much urging Nigerians, and of course, it's really something that everyone should prioritize: the importance of speaking out. Opening up.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yes, it's easier said than done, to be honest, especially because it's been a culture.
If you know who you are in the first place, if you're your authentic self, what is the problem?
Wow.
See, when I came, my parents, when at the birth of Charly Boy, the brand.
Yeah.
My parents know green now. They said this thing is not going to go anywhere. You understand?
Yeah.
It was difficult for Nigerians. All those things that are happening in the entertainment world, this is the bane of pioneers. Those who started something. Nobody remembers them. But young people like you remember what is trending, what trended yesterday. Okay? How the Matatics start. Not a lot of people know about it. Okay? I remember back in the days, this was like about 45 years ago. But since 50 years ago, if not more, I was sporting an earring. And that was very scandalous. How dare this man? So he won't become woman. Even people have accused me of being gay. Look at me and being gay. And I keep saying, see if I'm gay, I will carry placard. Everybody must know. By fire, by force. So that's the kind of society. That was why my parents were a little bit worried on my behalf. They said, this thing, we're living in a very conservative country. This thing is not going to work. I say, just watch me. It will work. Because there's nothing I put my soul and energy into, that I don't succeed. I've always known that from Jump Street. So, to each his own. I mean, if you're not too sure of who you are, where you're coming from, okay, you start to falter, wumble and fumble and, but hey, that's not for people like me.
Okay, so, well, I know that obviously it would definitely be easier for you to motivate someone who actually is aware of themselves, but we know that there is the problem of a lot of people not really knowing themselves in this country.
Of
so
course.
what can you then say to someone like that?
The mumu never do now. Just to keep talking, it's just like kids. I've had that kind of problem with some of my kids.
Okay.
Who just have this sense of entitlement. I say, hey, son, or my daughter, you have to go out and get yours. You have to be strong enough. I wasn't waiting for my father for anything, even though he didn't. I was richer than my father before he died. You see? But he never believed that, something very special could come out. Because, all the rocks in Abuja, I had graffiti all over the rocks. Every rock in Abuja saying, don't let anybody kill your dream. Your dream is your dream. It's a personal thing. Don't let anybody kill it. Because I didn't... can you believe if I was listening to my father? So you have to be sure of what you want. That is why, like all the people I started this journey with, most of them don't fade out. But I'm still the only one around because I've been consistent, I've been tenacious, I've with a lot of sagacity and audacity. Because I know who I am.
Absolutely.
So I don't need anybody to remind me. And if you call me by another name that is not my real name, you can call me Christopher Mbeke. I will not answer you because that's not my name.
Not at all.
Until you call me Charly Boy. But you see, because of the high hypocrisy in our country, because people are usually afraid of change. Look at what's happening in the country. The youths have been so bamboozled. They don't see hope. But when I look at them, I know I've been privileged to meet exceptional Nigerians. And I'm saying privileged to meet exceptional young Nigerians that have learned a thing or two from. So I know it is possible. Look at what happened in Kenya. Okay? You can say, oh, okay, that's a small geographical area. But the same thing can be replicated. And that's why, as an area father, I can't stop talking. Okay, because sometimes it's not when you talk to your child, the day you talk to your child, that you'll get that epiphany or the light will go off in his head and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You can be talking to your child maybe for the next 20 years. He still doesn't understand
True.
what you're talking about, And that's why when I look back, I'm pleased to say to you that even though I thought, when I was much, much younger, I thought my father was a cruel kind of person because I was the only one being punished. And I couldn't admit at the time that I was only punished because of my waywardness, my wanting to be irresponsible, But all that, all the morality, all the engineering, all the brainwashing, that is why I have arrived at this spot today, and I've decided to pitch my tent with the voiceless and the people who deserve and require more motivation and inspiration in their lives.
That's absolutely really beautiful, to be honest, because like you said, we really just have to keep talking. At least they're doing the best that we can. There's a lot more, in terms of handwork, but there's a lot of work that talking can do. Literally, I can tell because
the young people have been so battered, But I still believe in them. I've always said that the salvation of this country, of this contraption that you call Nigeria, lies in the hands of exceptional people. And who are those exceptional people? Most of them are the young people, the Gen Zs, the millennium, But I know that there will come a time, like they said, many days for the thief, one day for the owner.
Absolutely. A really nice one there. I think at this point it will be fair for me to open up the phone lines for listeners in case perhaps they have a question or two to ask you. So in case you want to join the conversation and ask a question or two, feel free to call in 0809-234-5913. That is also the WhatsApp number, so you can call in on WhatsApp with that number. Let me take it again, 0809-234-5913. Let's take a phone call right now. Hello, Lagos Talks. Good evening.
Good evening, Obi.
Good evening to you.
My name is Chuka Chube.
Okay, welcome,
I'm
Chuka.
calling from Ayoko.
Okay, please, can you turn off your radio set, Chuka? Thanks for calling in.
Yes, I turned it off.
All right, let's hear you. Welcome.
My love to Charly Boy.
Love you back.
I think he has demonstrated an unassailable virtue tonight.
Okay.
And I think journalists like you should find a way to immortalize Charly Boy. He's a great Nigerian. because he did what other people would have ignored and moved away. Those who love Charly Boy should find a way to immortalize him.
Okay.
Maybe within his declared profession tonight. Martin is a great soul. You know, when I first started watching his shows, I said, this man is not saying no. But I proved myself wrong over time. Look at the intellection he has displayed tonight. And let me remind him of certain things he has done in his life. He told us one day that whenever he turns on his television and sees Pastor Chris Okotie preaching, he will just grab his dictionary. Charly Boy, true or false?
True.
And I remember he said his father wanted him to serve at Mass in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I almost became a priest. Oh, I didn't tell you that
Charly
one.
Boy, you are a great person.
Thank you.
And I cherish you and love you.
Thank you. Love you back.
All right. Thank you so much, Chuka. I really appreciate
I
you
think,
for.
Obi, this should be a landmark show you are having tonight.
Yes.
I'm glad that you are doing it.
Thank you so very
you so
much,
much.
Chuka. I'm very
Dalu
grateful for you
Chuka,
calling in.
Dalu.
All right. All right.
Yeah, guys.
Take care. Well, maybe we can take some more calls, but it seems you maybe want to give us a little gist on that priest story. Of you almost being a priest.
Yeah, because so much religiosity was shoved down my throat by my father, especially. That man peppered me, So every day was morning mass. Every weekend was catechism. So it was just too much of that growing up. And that's how I started to feel hip that, okay, the best thing to do, because I started as an altar boy. Okay, I was an altar boy for maybe like about 8 years or thereabout. So when I wanted to go to secondary school, I first stopped at the seminary. I did 1 year because all my dream at that time was to be a priest. Because too much religiosity, then don't take choke me. Hey, I thought that was the best life to live, to be a priest. But funny enough, as I get older, I hate to use the word older, but as
You're more experienced.
As I get more experience and I get older. Hey, what the heck, I've been longing for this kind of life, to be able to go to a monastery, and just serve humanity. And I'm not a religious person per se, even though I was born into the Catholic faith. But I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I thought that was a call.
Yeah, it is a call. I just wanted to finish before I take it. But okay.
I think I'm done.
Okay, all right. Let's take another phone call right about now. All right, good evening. Remy, welcome on the show.
Good evening, Obi.
How's it going?
See, we Pekins like this, they don't born us. Well, may we call you Charly Boy, not Charly Father.
No, area father now.
Area Father.
Very,
very much.
But I'm always a boy, you can't help that one.
Thank you very, very much for all you've done for this country called Nigeria. You've done so well.
Thank you.
We acknowledge it. We know those who have failed Nigeria, and we know those of you who has given it all. A couple of questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 years ago, you started your activism, or earlier than that. Now you are a grandfather. How do you feel that your 16 grandchildren grow up to know in Nigeria where every evil you fought against are still escalating in high proportion? How does that make you feel? Secondly, people of your generation appear to be in charge. I mean, they are the one looting this country big time. do you think people of your generation should apologize to the generation behind? Lastly,
make I take the two. I beg no vex. My brain no no choke me with questions. Yeah, people of my generation have already apologized on their behalf to say that somehow people of my generation are guilty. We saw this coming, and we didn't take appropriate action because if we did, it would have slowed it down a little bit. But from Jump Street, this country has been corrupt, okay? It's just the magnitude, you know. Even when Fela was shouting and singing all his songs, International Tip Tip, you know, No Soldier Now, you know, Fela was just talking about what was happening in his environment at the time, okay?
True. Yeah.
At the time. And he was warning us that this is going to get ugly if we don't arrest it in time. Okay? And then what was that his first question now?
You know, how do your children, you know, growing up...
how do you feel, sir, that your grandchildren...
Listen, right now, do you know how lonely somebody like me is? There's none of my children who is with me again. Even to call myself not problem. Then they try, but they could do better. Okay? So I'm so lonely. I'm so alone. And it's because I can't say I blame them that much. Because they say, Daddy, but what are you doing there? But at my age, where will I go? If I go, what am I going to do there? Will I be as comfortable as I am? Yes, I agree that things can be much, much better. You know, we can have leadership that they all have their paws on the masses. They know how the masses feel from time to time. But these people don't keep a hoot about the masses. And it's so unfortunate. And it's so unfortunate that even in this last quarter of my life, none of my children are around. You think I like it? I don't like it, but that's what I'm dealing with. And that's part of all my frustration, my dear.
Okay. Well, I believe, because of the sake of time, Remy, I appreciate you for calling in, and I'm sure Charly Boy does as well, but I need to take some more phone calls, maybe just one more. But before I get into phone calls, let's just clear out some messages here. There's this message, of course, very interesting message from Baby Mama. Baby Mama says, "Hi, Charly Boy. My name is Baby Mama from Lagos Island. The street is fed up with this current government's administration. He believes another NSAS is coming soon." Okay, let's move past that. That's very interesting. There's this message here from Olamide from Shomolu who says, "Good evening, Era Father. Growing up watching your program then, I always see you like a rascal person, but I never want to miss any of the TV shows. When older, I realized you are such an amazing person with a heart of gold. I love you well. But we are not giving up. Nigeria is in the hands of the criminals in the corridors of power." Okay, that is... thank you so much for sending in that message, Lamide. Let's quickly go on to this one coming from British Man. British Man says, "Good evening, Obi and the Area Father. This is your classic show. And for Charly Boy to create this time to be here, man, respect to him. I still remember his music, Power Bike. And actually, no, to be very honest, I'm so grateful to have you here because it's past your bedtime, and I'm very much aware.
It's past my bedtime.
It's way past your bedtime.
It's only people like you that can get me out of it. It's past my bedtime.
I'm so grateful. Honestly, thank you so very much. And I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it. So thank you so very much. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to take, any more. Okay, Baby Mama.
Let's take one more.
Okay, let's just take one last call on the show for tonight. Okay, that was loud. Sorry about that. Hello.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Please,
turn your volume.
Turn off your streaming platform.
Sorry.
All right. Let's hear you. Welcome. Chine, welcome on the show.
It's the best to ever. Like, hey,
hey.
It's best to have a repeat, like, sincerely, seriously. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Our
ma.
area father.
Yes, so area picking.
Man, seriously, I don't know. I read something online where the said Charly Boy is not my son, but then I got to understand what late Justice Officer was trying to say. He said something. What do you think about your son, Charly Boy, today? He said, point of correction, Charly Boy is not my son. I think Charly Boy is a character. I don't have any child as Charly Boy. I have Charles Officer. I don't allow Charly Boy into my house, but I have a caring son called Charles. Maybe you will need to rephrase your question again.
That's
that
deep.
Very deep, actually.
He was intelligent. I wish I have that as my father. Seriously, I wish. And it's a good thing to know that he had just one wife, and to think that he knew his religion as a Catholic. He started to say that my dad is Catholic, but then he had more than one woman, because he didn't marry the second one. But then he had more than one woman in his life.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate.
Okay.
But sincerely, I wish your father happened to be my father. Then you have a rare gift like the father.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
all
take
right.
that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
I'm truly impressed. Like, man, I wish. Oh,
okay.
God,
All right.
God knows best.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you for joining the conversation. You know, it's very interesting.
Like they say, an apple can't fall too far from a tree.
Absolutely. True. So,
lions know they born goats.
That's real talk.
Now my papa born me.
And there's something that I would say that, it's relatively similar. It's just, hasn't really seen it just because of the way she saw your dad, and that's how much she appreciates him. Because, like you mentioned, you said he almost forced a life on you. Yes. She didn't appreciate the kind of life her dad gave her as well. But she's just not seeing the way you chose to take your life into your own hands. So it really just boils down to you. No matter what kind of parents you have, you came into this world solo.
Success is an individual thing.
Absolutely, really and truly. But yes, that's where we're going to have to wrap things up, because we've really spent quite some time, and we don't really have many more. Okay, well, just a few more minutes, but yes, of course, this is where we're going to have to wrap things up. But just before, I let you go, maybe any last words for tonight?
Yeah,
for listeners
I know
listening?
we're all, we're in a funny kind of environment, and we're all going through a whole lot of challenges, and sometimes it does look hopeless. Men are getting weaker and weaker because they can't bear the pain like women. Women are also becoming, they've been role reversal. Women are becoming wearing the pants in the house these days, because the men are not catching up. We were all born to provide and protect, and then when a man cannot fully achieve that, he thinks of himself as less of a man, and that is not good. And that is why I'm trying to do this wellness and health program for men. So, because, the brain is the first to be sort of antagonized.
Okay.
You understand? Because of what you put inside here, what you're telling yourself, And then for young people, I still believe in the Nigerian youths, no matter the mumus where they amongst them, those where their mumu never belly full them. I still believe that the salvation of this country, lies in the hands of its exceptional people. One day, enough will be enough. And then I'm waiting for that day, because by the time everybody decides to do the needful, then go see area father. I go there in front with my scooter, and I'll be leading them. All I just want to see is some seriousness. Are you guys ready to change this equation? because I'm beginning to feel that the youths of this country don't realize how powerful they are. Because they've been battered mentally. They think, one, there's no hope. Two, person when no get hope, suppose die.
Once there's life, there's hope, really.
Precise. So that's where I am, no matter how bad it is, I am still hopeful.
Okay. All right, that's really beautiful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you
Charly
for
Boy.
having me.
Thank you so much for
And
coming
interrupting my bedtime.
Don't worry. It really was for a great cause, and I owe you one. I absolutely owe you one for this. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. But yeah, like I mentioned, listeners, this is where I have to wrap things up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining the conversation. Whatever way you've contributed to the show tonight, I absolutely appreciate you. We're going to be going off right about now, but in case you want to connect with me, it is Obi Doing It across all social media platforms, OBIDOINGIT, one word. And I believe, yes, a lot of people are very much aware that it's Area Father. Of course, now, yes, Area Father.
Area Father. Father as in FADA.
Yes.
Okay. Area Father, one word. And then the figure 1. Follow me on my Instagram.
All right.
And maybe, we can yarn.
All right, great. But yes, also importantly, follow us on all social media platforms, Lagos Talks 913. Okay. Thank you so much once again. But yes, this is where I have to wrap things up. But going off, but at 5 a.m. we'll be back up with programming running at 6 a.m. The early edition with Oluwa Kayode will take its course. But until I catch you tomorrow, do the best that you can to prioritize your mental health, okay? Adios.
If you want to be a part of us, first off, follow us across all social media pages at Lagos Talks 913 is our handle. And of course, kindly like, share, subscribe, and make sure you're a part of the Lagos Talks family.